I'm Bob Trask. Today I want to talk to you about a way that we can create that which we want. Oh, yeah, I know there's all these motivational speakers and videos and texts and books and stuff that tell you how to create your reality. And I think that 98% of them are really worth watching and worth listening to and worth reading. We've got really good stuff. I could go down the list and read the list of all the books that we've taught classes on. Great books, powerful information. Comes down though to those of you and me who are a little bit more advanced, who know that in fact we create our own reality. We know that we each have our own universe and we live inside of our own universe. And the things that we see around in our universe aren't the same things the person right next to us sees in their universe. They may see the same objects, but they don't see them in the same way. Only we see the way we see. Only we create the realities that we create. No one else creates those. Like a dozen women may make chocolate chip cookies and use the same recipe. Strangely enough, each one of those will taste a little different and look a little different because the people are different, because their universes are different. And we are creating our own reality in our own individual universe. The question is this then, just quickly, is how is my universe affecting yours? How is your universe affecting mine? How are we affecting each other? I'm creating my own reality. I'm creating my own universe. I'm after what I want in life. I want what I want in life. Is that getting in the way of what you want in life? I read recently that a very, very small percentage of people in the United States, like 5% or something like that, have more money than the rest of the country included. So how is each one of those multi-billionaires, how is their universe affecting your universe? Other than using you as a farm to take things from. Each one of us have the ability to make a difference in the world. In the world. And I'm going to get more deeply into that and talk about how that can happen, because it sounds like Pollyanna. If you change your life, you change the world. Yeah, so that sounds good, but is it really true? If I change myself, do I change the world? Here's how it works. So many of us in this world think that we have no control over the bigger picture. And surely there's a lot of things going on, like the wars and who gets to be president and earthquakes and hurricanes that we have no control over. And yet we each one are the centers of our own universes, and we do have power over our own lives. Or do we? Seems that control over our lives that we seek can only happen when we have certain attitudes. The attitudes, stay with me now, that allow natural flow. Natural flow. Attitudes that allow natural flow. What do I mean by natural flow? It's like a river, isn't it? We're all separate rivers. Imagine with me for a minute. High in the mountains, it's raining, and this one little rivulet where water sort of trickles down the mountain, and it's pretty regular the way it trickles down. And there's a little spring that comes out of the mountain in a certain place, and that little rivulet matches up with that spring, and it's a little larger at that point, and that flows down. But that's permanent now. That isn't just when it rains. That's permanent. It flows down and joins another rivulet, joins another spring, another one, and pretty soon it's a little stream. Then it's a little bit bigger stream, and then eventually it becomes a river. And we're like rivers. We're all flowing to the sea. But we're all unique and individual. And the channels and the valleys that we carve as we flow are our life's work. Because there's no other river like you. There's no other person of the 108 billion people that have lived and are living on this planet. You're the only one ever, 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 ever. You're a river. And you're going through life, and as you're going through life, you're carving a reality. You're carving a reality. Like a river carves through the walls of a mountain. The Grand Canyon, magnificent Grand Canyon, was carved by the Colorado River, by a river. We carve realities as we go, and those realities touch other realities. So how does my universe touch your universe? Does your universe touch someone else's universe? Does it make a difference in someone else's universe? Yes, indeed it does. Yes, indeed it does. It does because you are making things happen that no one else in all of history ever could or ever will make happen. No one else is you. No one has the same cells as you. No one has the same fingerprint. It's the same eye print, the same voice print, the same neuronal prints in your brain and in your body. No one else ever, ever, ever was you. And you uniquely have the ability to do miraculous, magical things. But you can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. You need me. And I need you. We need each other because we get this energy from each other that we call love or compassion or kindness or gentleness or caring. We care about each other. And because of that, we flow in a way that we never could flow otherwise. And we leave beauty behind us as our legacies. So being in control relies on working with the current of the river, not against it. Going where the natural flow is. Boy, just let me emphasize that for a minute. Because a lot of us are banging our heads against a brick wall, against a granite wall. And there's a way. There's always a way. There's a way to pick up what we can from that brick wall and go around it and move on. But in order to do that, we have to be willing to let go of that which doesn't work. We have to be willing to let go of our egos, our ego dependency on being right, on being right, on being right. Let it, set that aside. Be willing to change. Author Richard Roveri reminds us that always the river seems to be saying, let go, let go, let go. And that always depends on attitude. Letting go always depends on attitude. If we're frightened, if we're scared, if we're filled with apprehensions and anxiety and self-doubt, then we hang on to this, whatever it is. Like we're going down the river and there's this branch sticking out and we grab onto the branch because it's the only solid thing in sight. And now we're being drugged, the current's banging against us. We're trying to breathe, we're aching, we're tired. If we just let go and let the river take us, because this is nature. A war's being started. And we feel like victims. I feel the sadness of that. Our country is being represented on an international stage, and I feel like we have no voice in that. I feel like I have no voice in that. And it'd be then easy to lose confidence in my country, in my neighbors who agree with that war, and then I lose confidence in myself. And then I become a victim. So what can I do to maintain mental and emotional balance in the midst of all this? First, I have to accept what is. I feel sad and angry. The unnecessary loss of life, the devastation of personal property, sacred property, the devastation of innocent families, that's not excusable. Wars are not there to solve problems. They most often cause bigger problems. Okay, so I'm angry about that, and maybe you are too. So what do we do with those feelings? Since our personal power either expands or recedes, our personal power either expands or recedes according to our attitudes. How can we keep positive attitudes when all around us feels insane? Because Wayne Dyer tells us the way you perceive things is an extremely powerful tool. The way you perceive things is an extremely powerful tool that will allow you to fully bring the power of intention into your life. What he's saying is that if you pay attention to something, if you perceive something and pay attention to it, it will bring the power of intention into your life. But here's the thing, we're addicted to our attitudes. We have these old attitudes and we're addicted to them. Gosh, I've worked with so many thousands of people in different cultures around the world. And I've seen this again and again. And it doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter what country. It doesn't matter what your religion or your political beliefs are. It doesn't matter how many years you spent in school or college, or if you didn't go to school. It doesn't matter. Many people, I think most people, are addicted to their attitudes. My attitude is I see life like this. I see you like this. I see people who are not of my same race like this. I see people who are not of my same religion like this. I see people who are not of my political party like this. And I see this and and those are my attitudes. That's all I need to be right. That's all my righteousness. So what if I let go of that? What if I let go of that concrete asphalt jungle, that powerless thing that I've been up against that says I've got to be right? Changing my attitude is difficult because I have to let go of the security of knowing I'm right. This is not just an external addiction. I said it's an addiction. It's just not an addiction of attitude. It's a physical chemical addiction, just like tobacco, booze, and drugs. When we feel like victims, when we feel like we don't have choices, when we're angry and upset and feel powerless, then our brains release endorphins that go through our body to settle us down, to make the pain less. And we become addicted to that. We get addicted to those endorphins. And you know what I wanted to say is that we can get most of those most important endorphins, the feel-good endorphins, the endorphins that really lift us up, that really make us feel powerful and make us feel good and make us feel joyful, the real feel-good hormones. We can get most of those in a different way, not by being victimized, but by being in control. By being in control, when we have the courage to step away from those old identities of helplessness, self-doubt, and confusion, we find a new way to flow with this reality. Suddenly, our lives have new meaning and new purpose. Can I say it again? When we step away from the feelings of helplessness in any way, in any area of our lives, I'm not helpless. Say, I'm not helpless. I'm in control of my life because I'm in control of my attitude. Then our lives suddenly have new meaning and purpose. We walk differently. We talk differently. We make the change that we need to develop this new mindset. And how do we do that? We get a new intention. We get an intention to create what we want. because that's the power of creation, is intention. And we put our intention on the life that we want. We put our intention on the things that we love. We put our intention on beauty and love and kindness and prosperity and good health and caring for one another. And how do we keep that intention there? How do we keep that intention always moving? Because intention's energy, and it takes energy to create energy. How do we do that? We do that by putting our attention on what we want. We take our attention away from how lousy a situation is, and we put that same exact energy, that same attention on what we personally want, on what we personally love, on what we personally think is wonderful. When we keep our intention there, that same exact energy of what we personally want, because where our attention goes, our intention follows. Always, 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 always. Where an attention is, our intention is following. If I have my attention in a certain area that I don't like, that's what I'm creating. If I'm driving down the highway and it's night and I'm on the highway, my headlights shining forward. But what if my headlights suddenly went over to the right? What if my headlights somehow magically turned and started looking over at the right? That's where I'd be going. Because where my attention is, my intention, my creative intention, my car follows. James Redfield, the author of the Celestine Prophecy, agrees with this. He says, where attention goes, energy flows. Where intention goes, energy flows. So like you, I'm a river on my way to the sea. And as I go, I carve a riverbed. It might be shallow, might be the Grand Canyon, but it's my life and my purpose for being here. And if I pay attention to how I'm doing day by day, if I flow with honesty, with compassion, with truth, my riverbed will be a wonderful sight to see. Author Timothy Miller also says, attention is the intention to live without reservation in the here and now. Attention is the intention to live without reservation in the here and now. So now we're paying attention to my life, paying attention to goodness and beauty and any wars. Will it? Hey, I don't know. Will it cure climate change? I don't know. Will it heal a sick friend? I don't know. Will paying attention and seeing life as beautiful make it more fulfilling? Absolutely and positively. Will it give me more power to create the things I want in life? Absolutely and positively. Will it make me a more enjoyable person to be around? Will I have more friends? Will people care about me more? Absolutely and positively. And my intention then will be to make life more beautiful, because intention follows attention. Where my attention is, there is my intention. There's my creative power. And this is how we turn on the personal power we inherited. We inherited this personal power, this power of intention that I'm talking about. We inherited that personal power from 5,000 generations of grandparents. All stood toe to toe with a saber-toothed tiger, toe to toe with starvation, with hunger, with disease, with very short lives, toe to toe with living in caves, of moving all the time, moving to try to stay where the game was, where the fish were, where the animals were, where the food that they could harvest was. Really hard lives, really hard lives. They didn't think they were hard lives. They were just lives. They were the lives they had at the time. Did it take courage to do what they did? Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. And did we inherit that courage? Yes, yes. Every one of us, every one of us. Those inherited genes are not dead. They're alive inside of you and inside of me right now. They're genes that say that we can win no matter how tough the challenge. No matter how tough the challenge. But we have to pay attention to the best and most beautiful and then bring that forth. Howard Thurman said, don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do it. Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive and go do it. Most of us have been sitting in the bleachers, sitting up in the grandstands, watching the game, all huddled in our blanket and drinking our coffee or beer or whatever and watching the game. And many of us groaning about this or that thing that happened in the game. Oh, why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? Gosh, it wouldn't. Some people around us are whining about how awful things are going. And some others are just sitting glum and bored. Hey, it's time for us to get out of the bleachers and get ourselves down on the field. We're not here to watch. We're here to play. In your life and mine, we can make a difference. We don't have to be able to measure the difference. We don't have to measure the distance. We don't have to win any medals. We don't have to get any statues of us in the park. All we have to do is keep our attention on what we want, on what's beautiful, on what's kind, on what makes our hearts smile. Keep our attention on that and never let anything distract us from that. And in doing so, we turn our creative intentions on and we make a difference in this world, our world, and the greater world. Because ripples go out through my universe and touch people in their universes, and we make a difference. When our attention is to make life work better, we automatically intend to make life work better. When our attention is to make life work better, we automatically intend to make life work better. Then the powerful endorphins are released, and we see things change, and we see things get better. So let's get stoned, shall we? Together, we'll have a party. Let's get stoned on endorphins, because boy, they can get you stoned. I mean, you can really get stoned on endorphins. It's called joy. It's called buzzed. It's called, when you see somebody win a gold medal or win a race or you see the joy in them, that we can have that same joy every day by winning all the time and be stoned on endorphins and let those endorphins empower us. Michelangelo, gosh, I just love this guy. Boy, his statue of David and of the Pieta. Oh, the statue of the Pieta. He did that was in like 23 years old or something. Oh my God, it's the most beautiful thing you can possibly imagine. And then he was hired. He wasn't a painter, and the Catholic Church, who kind of financed him and told him what he was going to do and what he wasn't going to do, said, "We want you to paint this ceiling in the Sistine Chapel." Well, he said, "I'm not a painter. I'm a sculptor. I'm not." He said, "Well, we're going to paint it anyway." And he was pissed off and he was upset and he got his scaffolding and he's got his tempera paints, which are made from parts of eggs. And he put it together and he mixed it himself. And he laid on his back and he stood on ladders and he stood on scaffolds. and he was unhappy, he was angry, he was frustrated. And that amazing masterpiece is the expression of an angry soul releasing itself into art. He put his attention on that, and the rage that was inside him fueled him. He kept his attention on the work and let his rage inside of him fuel his genius. His attention dash intention produced a work that has touched millions of lives. If you haven't seen it, at least go look pictures of it. That same avenue is open to us today. I'm not Michelangelo, but Michelangelo also is not me. Michelangelo couldn't give this talk. Only I can give this talk. Michelangelo can't do what you can do, nor can I. That same avenue that is open to him is open to us. And we can use the angst, the tensions, the anger, the unsettledness inside of us to make something beautiful happen in our world. Be it a painting, a statue, a cake, the caring of someone in need, a house cleaning, or a story well told. We can do that. You and I can do that. We're not here by accident, my friends. You're not here by accident. You're a child of this living universe. You're a living product of consciousness. You're here for a purpose. You're the only one. If you put your attention, if you dare put your attention on something other than what's going on right now. I know there's probably a lot of good going on in your life right now. What is the next step in goodness, in beauty for you? Put your attention on that. Dare. You'll be scared. You say, well, what? That scares me. I know, scares me too. And fear is energy. So if we shut that down, it becomes anxiety. If we turn it loose, it becomes change. And we can make our world and the world better by being who we came here to be. Remember Ravi Shankar? He was just, what a great guy. Back in the 60s, he was really, really important to everybody. He's still important to me. He said, whatever you put your attention on will start manifesting in your life. He said, intention, attention, manifestation. That's how the universe works. That is how the universe works. And that other glorious man, Thich Nhat Hanh, who passed this last year, gosh, what a great guy. He said, the present moment is filled with joy and happiness. If you're attentive, you will see it. So let's be attentive. Let's make a difference in the world. Let's make a difference in our world. Doesn't have to be a big difference. You don't have to be a roaring river. You can be a stream. But the stream, the quiet stream, the little brook, is still carving its way toward the sea. And it's making a difference. The question simply is today, this day, who can I touch? How can I help? What can I do with my attitude to turn my fear into energy, into love, and make a difference? Thank you for being with me today. Please ask your friends to come to this site and let's expand our family. I'll see you next week.